in his mind, it was only a quick pit stop to lay some flowers at his grandma's grave. But one secret of his grandma being alive led to another secret, which was JP Gibbs being his half-brother, and I'm sure sooner or later he's gonna find out that D-Mac is his nephew, who's the one who's actually targeting JP's bar. But eventually, he changed his mind about staying in Chicago because he's done taking orders from people like Ghost and Rodolfo, and he now wants to be his own boss and free agent. He also bumped into Gloria, and he found himself with a bag full of drugs and money after meeting Vic Flynn and Janard Sampson, two people from two different crime families, but two people who definitely showed Tommy there's definitely a gap in the market for someone like him to take over. So in this video, we're going to run through all the advantages that Tommy has, how we're watching him strike up a relationship with Diamond, but how he's going to cause a conflict with Janard, and the impact this could have on everyone, as well as going through how Tommy is using some of the principles of Law 25 and Law 20 from the 48 Laws of Power. Now, Tommy will eventually plan to sandwich himself in between both crime families that he's come across in Chicago and be the one in control and power, because he's slowly beginning to realize that the Flynns and the CBI are the two major crime families running things here in Chicago. But Tommy is definitely thinking that he can make Chicago his, because he's looking at the whole chessboard and thinking Diamond's been inside for 15 years, and there's a small conflict brewing between the leadership of the CBI that he can take advantage of. Now with the Flynn family, there's Vic running the street side of things for Walter, but he has nowhere near as much knowledge or experience as Tommy does in the game. For example, coming like to a meeting with a Connect, where Tommy also showed his knowledge of the product they were buying, which was definitely not the quality of what he expects. And let's not forget, they were doing business with a bunch of yardies and also showed this lack of experience. So neither Vic or Janard have full control over the streets, and he's just got rid of some of Rojas' people on the outside after he blew them up, which could definitely come back to bite Diamond, so we're just gonna have to park this issue of Rojas for now. But Chicago is definitely up for grabs, as we're gonna see Tommy mapping out the routes and which territory he can take, and Liliana is definitely gonna play a key role in Tommy's organization, because it seems like she knows who the Flynn family are. Now Tommy does as well, because he did his research on both the Flynns and Diamond in episode 1. So let's talk about Tommy, Diamond and Janard, because when D-Mac rolled in, Tommy definitely noticed how they only took orders from Janard in Diamond's place of business, and this definitely made it clear to Tommy who the boss was. But he also knew who the boss was prior to Diamond going away for 15 years, because as I said, Tommy's someone who did his research on Diamond beforehand. So when we saw Tommy and Diamond doing their drops for Rojas, he planted the seed in Diamond's mind about his brother being in charge of his whole organization and being the one in control. And Tommy knew exactly what he was doing, because this is the same shit that happened to Tommy back in Power. Poncho is a perfect example when he told him he wasn't shit without Ghost, and we all saw how that worked out for Poncho. And you could really sense the tension in the room when Elijah wouldn't let Tommy go, and D-Mac had his gun to his head. They were only stepping down unless Janard told them to step down, not Diamond. So we heard Diamond saying, "What the fuck are you looking at Janard for? This is my spot of business." And just look at the way Janard clocked his brother. Now he definitely loves Diamond, and I'm sure he'll do anything for him, but Janard stopped so short of saying that this is Diamond's shop, or this is my older brother, and if you take orders from me, then you take orders from him too, because he's the one who created the CBI. Now Janard let this situation ride, until he eventually told D-Mac to put their guns down, and this is because Janard doesn't want to relinquish this control and power that he has. Hence why I believe he bought this barbershop in the first place for Diamond, because this is his way of keeping his brother aside while he carries on running shit the way he wants, because times have definitely changed, and it's been made clear from episode 1 and 2 that Janard wants to run things his way, but Diamond wants to run things differently by making sure there's less bodies on the streets and less guns around, because one wrong kill can start a war and end up with dozens of others dying, and he's already spent 15 years inside, and he's not planning on going back anytime soon. And this is why Tommy and Diamond are more on the same wavelength, definitely not on the killing people, but they're on the same wavelength about what it takes to build an organization, how it takes time, and how they have to look at all the angles that comes with money, powder, power, and respect. So the way they grew up and how the streets used to work, that's why they could relate to each other. But sooner or later, this is going to cause a jealousy issue from Janard, which will eventually cause a bigger conflict, in the sense, I can see him working and teaming up with Vic Flynn, because their interests will align with each other, and that's because this Casper the Ghost has come into Chicago, and he's taken something from both of them. With Janard, Diamond seems like he's going to do business with Tommy, and when it comes to Vic Flynn, this is exactly the same shit he's going to do to him. He's going to take his position with Walter Flynn. Now, we saw Tommy meeting Vic in the first episode, and as it is, their relationship didn't exactly get off to the best of starts, because Tommy smashed Simon's hand and then he blew Vic up by taking his money and drugs. But what stirs this issue up between Vic and Tommy even more is the fact that he's pushing up on Vic's girl, Gloria, and Vic knows he is. And Vic really is in love with Gloria, but it is so complicated because he can only marry an Irish woman, hence why we saw Claudia drop a hint that she saw a girl that Vic may like, because Walter Flynn would certainly not accept Gloria. Like he said, Vic is gonna do things his way because he has a very old school mentality. And this is the reason why I see Vic and Jannard eventually teaming up, because they both have this jealousy that Tommy's come in and fucking up their positions with their family. Now, what also makes this situation a whole lot interesting in the case of Jannard and the CBI is D-Mac is Tommy's nephew, and it's only a matter of when and not if Tommy finds out, and then we could see a real close bond and relationship form between D-Mac and Tommy. So that's another person Tommy could strike a bond with, which Jannard may not be happy with. Now, what really played to Tommy's strengths, and as funny as it sounds, Tommy being kidnapped with Diamond was probably the best thing that happened to him in Chicago, because this forced Tommy into moving product to different buyers for Rojas. But what he did was, he used this bad situation and turned it into a crash course where he learned all the routes in Chicago. He had his head on a constant swivel at every single drop, while Diamond was driving, making note in his mind about all the routes, places, and buyers that he could potentially do business with in the future when he's eventually on the throne in Chicago. But Diamond's smart and he knows exactly what Tommy was doing and how he was clocking his city. But I think that's what he liked about Tommy, and I do think these two are gonna get on just fine. And they're gonna complement each other, because we have Tommy who wants to build an organization, and we have Diamond who wants to reclaim his throne of the CBI. And Tommy can help him do that, but at the end of the day, as the season synopsis tells us, Tommy will sandwich himself between the CBI and the Flynn family, with the power to make them prosper and crumble at the same time. So now we're gonna see him moving and working with the Flynns in episode 3, and if he doesn't know already, then he's about to find out that the Flynns don't deal in coke, but rather counterfeit money, according to this article. But we are gonna see Claude approaching Tommy with this new drug that she's been introduced to by Mai, because Walter Flynn would never go for it coming from someone who's just supposed to be doing the books. And this is how we could see Tommy working the angle with Walter Flynn. And this is why Tommy is a perfect guy for Walter with what we just went through. But the issue for the Flynns is, Tommy doesn't work for the CBI, and he certainly doesn't work for the Flynns. He's a free agent, and he's certainly gonna keep it this way. And it really is just a matter of how he gains this money, power, powder, and respect, because there is definitely going to be consequences along the way, as Rojas' men found out, but also in Tommy's direction, because someone's going to be looking for him as well. But tying this video together, Tommy's using Principles of Law 25 of recreating himself with a powerful new image that stands out and draws attention in Chicago, because he's someone who's never been afraid to show his face. He always gives credit what gave credit to him, and that's the streets. And he's also done letting others define him, like Ghost for example. We're watching him change his appearance and emotions to suit whichever occasion he's in. For example, switching from someone who taught Simon a lesson to then being soft with Gloria. Now, he's also using Law 20 by not committing to anyone, because being this free agent keeps his independence and he remains in control. But when it comes to family though, it is definitely a different story, because he definitely has a soft spot for blood and those who are loyal to him. But with that being said, that's the